Hello and welcome, Fonzie Smith here. First of all, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to the subscribers and viewers that are watching. I'm and the comments, I'm really touched and overawed with all the for how well it seems to be going. I didn't really want to, but I suppose I better do the thing. If you like the video, so if you could stick a like and subscribe. Apparently that's the thing you've got to do, promote your channel and all that jazz, but I'll say I'm more than happy for you to watch if you like it, and don't if you don't. But for those who do watching, I'd just like to say a big thank you. And Mr. PT, thank you for your comments. It's really good that you know, the when you get a nice comment, and especially the one of the last comments I got was helpful to somebody else. It really was sort of honouring and really proud that, you know, the last video was a bit of advice and somebody's using it and it's helping. It's really good. It really makes me feel good. Go on then. So something else, as well as thanking for people who watched and posted, something else I'm a bit thankful for that I wanted to discuss was the awareness, and mainly the awareness of mental health. A bit of a subject close to my heart, but it's one of those subjects that people being mentally ill, which seems a very harsh way of putting it, but that's basically what it is, was almost like frowned upon, or not very well received, or not even believed. You know, the mind can't get ill, and you know what you're talking about. A lot of people used to, but now it is more recognised, and with you know, more health and awarenesses, and you know, it can only be a good thing, that. Rather than people suffering in silence. It can only be a good thing that people get their, you know, get help when yeah, so mental health, it is a tricky subject. It has got quite a negative stigma around it. You know, people sort of say it shouldn't be called mental health or depression, or, but I don't think people who suffer with it, you know, mind what it's called. It's just they would rather not have it at all. So the problem you have with mental health is that it's a difficult one to diagnose. I think people who suffer with mental health, it's obviously it's a sort of trapping in your mind. It's not always someone the awareness, or the fact there is people you can contact to help, and you know, foundations, and you know, you don't have to suffer it alone, and it's not a bad thing to have mental health now. It's obviously not good for the individual, but it's not recognised as a horrible thing like it used to be, or just, you know, not discussed at all. But I mean, we had the same thing with homosexuals. You know, when I was younger, nobody would confess to being a homosexual. There obviously was plenty of them, and you know, each to their own and all that jazz, but you know, people wouldn't proudly display their homosexuality. Now it's a lot more accepted, and that can only be a good thing. Some people are loud and proud with it, but others would suffer in silence, and you know, it's not good. That's not good. And I suppose if you go back further, it's a bit like being coloured, where coloured people weren't accepted, and you know, should be. But that's all you know, So the more modern way, we're getting better, I would say. But with mental health, it's hard to help somebody with mental health issues. Mental health seems a bit like like being alone. It's a bit like being trapped in your own thoughts and feelings, and you know, there's all different kinds of mental health, but you know, as it was explained to me once, it's sort of like the mind and the brain is suffering, and emotions, but it's hard to see it as a problem where nobody can see it. You know, it's up to the individual inside. So you know, sometimes the cure of it is just the need to, you know, go to the quiet place and relax and heal. You know, when somebody's in a hospital with a broken leg or something rather, they've got their leg up and they're healing and they're sleeping, and you know, they're having their medication and getting better. And sometimes when you've got a problem with mental health, it's hard to say, like, you know, well, I've got a problem, I just need a couple of days off to recover or heal. I think that's why people won't really know people who have depression or issues, or you know, and it doesn't, sometimes it can be just down to confidence, or you know, there's lots of different forms of what could be going wrong. But I think sometimes with people with mental health issues, sometimes they're out and about and they're loud and proud, and sometimes you won't hear from them for a few days, and it's not just because they're busy. Sometimes it is because they're suffering inside, and being at home, so sometimes is the best way to cure it. You know, just need a few days off, and as much as you like the world to stop so you could recover for a few days, it doesn't, does it? Time in the world just keeps carrying on. So when you need it to stop, you don't get a chance, you don't get a break. But sometimes for when you do have the problems, the being at home can be the best thing. You know, just camp up for the weekend and, you know, be by yourself and in your comfort environment, and you know, be at home and, you know, recover and rest and get better. But sometimes it can be the worst thing as well, you know, being on your own. And sometimes if you've got things to do and places to be, and like if you've got to go to work, you know, you sort of can get yourself through work, and it's just outside work that suffers. But if you've got a week off and you're suffering with depression, and sometimes it's not the best or not good to be cooped up at home. Sometimes it's, you know, you've made arrangements and you're having to stick to them, or try to stick to them. And that's sometimes where it comes in, where, you know, if you cancel on people, or somebody cancels on you, sometimes it's not because, you know, they will use an excuse. They won't say, you know, it's still not out there enough to say, I'm not feeling mentally well today, I can't make it to work. I don't think that would happen yet. It wouldn't be accepted enough, but it's the sort of thing that needs to happen. Obviously some people will play on it, and you know, that's going to spoil it for the people who do have the troubles, but they're going to use another excuse, like, oh, I can't, you know, if you're going to meet out with somebody and I can't make it out tonight, I've got something on, or something's cocked up, or you know, if they're a mental health issue, it's just they're making an excuse to not do it because they really don't feel they can do it. And sometimes that's the other awkward thing with it, I've spoken to before, is when you've got problems with mental health, sometimes it's not a case that you don't want to do anything. You feel bad enough that you sort of, your body's able to, but your mind is not, and it feels really bad that you sort of must get up and do what you're supposed to do, but you just keep going back to bed, and you're sort of suffering, and you know, you're putting yourself down, and you know, you're blaming yourself for the troubles. And you know, there's nothing worse when you're suffering and you're trying to get on, And you know you've got stuff to do and a certain amount of time to do it, but you just can't really get yourself up and going, and motivation. I think that's another thing it suffers with what can suffer with it is motivation. So what can we do for people suffering with mental health issues? I heard a radio advert about, like, they ask somebody if they're alright, and then there's some sort of strange sound in the background, and then you should keep asking them if they're alright, and then they will confess all. But I don't know, from my experiences of it, people, it's all got to be on their own terms, you know. It's not really something they really want to share. It's worth it. I don't know if it's feeling like they've got to suffer alone, or you've got to deal with the problem yourself, but there is something you can do. There is, I did get shown a card, given a card. I'll try and put a picture up of a NHS. It was basically counselling, but they didn't really like to call it counselling. It's sort of like a support. No, that was definitely really worth it. Probably broken now. Yeah, so that was counselling, so I'll try and put that number up on the screen. And obviously friends and support would help. Maybe if you just haven't heard from that friend in a while, maybe just give them a message, seeing if they're okay, and you know, if it's all gone a bit quiet, and or you know, that if you know somebody's having a bit of a rough time, I suppose. I'm not sure depression or mental health is always linked to things going wrong, but it definitely doesn't help. Sometimes I don't think there has to be a reason for it, you know. Sometimes it's just suffering. But if you have got somebody you know who's sort of a bit wobbly, or say something, you just haven't, you don't have to meet up with them and give them all your time, and it's not as drastic as that, but just your message to somebody saying, are you okay, thinking of you, I have to have a catch up soon. Just that bit of support, just that bit of, you know, well wishing, and it does help somebody who's suffering, you know. And if you leave the door open for them to come to you if they want to talk, then that's obviously good as well. But I think if you try and raise the issue of, you know, talk to me, they just close up more. So being open for them and there for them, and obviously this you know, campaigns and mental health awareness week, or day or week, or whatever it is, and you know, it's like a similar thing to cancer sufferers, the raising the not just the cure, or it's the prevention. It's you know, the breast cancer and the pink ribbon, and men have testicular cancer and it's a bluey green ribbon. Just raising that awareness, and letting people not feel victimised because they got a problem, the help. It's all good stuff. It's all in the positive and right direction. You're never going to cure it, but you can certainly help sufferers. And I never quite understand, well, I would never agree that people suffering, they then do drinking and drugs. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea. But you know, people probably only do it to try and numb the pain, or try and numb what's going on, you know, and numb the mind. But it does seem a bit like a can of worms. If you're suffering, a cocktail of things that are known to make the mind trip. That can't be a good result. Can't be a good result for anyone. So another thing that mental health sufferers seem to suffer with is workload. The more the workload builds up, the harder it always seems to get through it, and even harder to start it. You've got lots and lots and lots of things to do, which we all have in life, and I suppose some people are better dealing at it than others. And I am certainly not very good at getting through my workload. It always takes me forever. You know when people say they could clean a house top to bottom in 2 hours? I think, how? How can you clean a whole house properly and well in 2 hours? It must be either really tidy and clean to start with, you don't do it properly, or you are just really good at that sort of thing. But God, it would take me 2 hours just to tidy the porch, let alone the whole place. I ain't living in a flat. I always think you can clean a house from top to bottom. How about a challenge? How about you come around mine and clean it from top to bottom? Really test your old skills out then. So let's keep the awareness of mental health open and help others, and if there's any other topics we should raise, then we should. Give me a like or a comment or a note or a hover or message or whatever, and speak to you soon. Keep healthy, happy and safe. Bye for now.